Hey guys, so I was so disturbed. Let's just get right to it. I started counting all my students who are emotional versus non-emotional. I want to see who gets more results. And there's a spin or marketing tactic that believes that if a student's more emotional, they get more results and it's better for Daygame because women are emotional. But to my surprise, I'm actually very, very shocked because I found the opposite is true. And even though there's nobody on right now, I suggest that you stay to the very end because I'm going to go through all the screenshots of the student results and you're going to be shocked. You're going to be like, oh my God, this is going to be very scientific. Okay? Even though there's nobody here, that's okay at this particular time. Let's get right to it. So, exactly, I counted 51 students are not emotional. Of all of them, sometimes they get multiple results that adds to the 400. And for my students who are emotional, 31 of them are emotional snowflake cunts. And that's a big problem, isn't it? It's like, whoa, wait a minute. So you're saying that if the person's more emotional, they get less results. So what is going on here? So let's just jump right into it. I don't want to have any theories here. All right. So I have tick marked all the students that emotionally process information and more reactive, more emotional. And I have the other students who are more or less emotionally reactive, Socio versus psycho. I know you guys don't want to admit it, but let's just get right to it. Even though there's nobody here, I'm just going to continue. I don't give a shit. So the very first student over here is not emotional. He does not process with emotions at all with women. He doesn't give a shit. The second student, although his results not really great, he doesn't process with emotions either, and you know it. The third student is not emotional at all. In fact, some people thinks he lack emotional capabilities in Daygame, and that could hurt his results. Strange, nobody's here. Okay. This student is emotional though, for sure. He's a shorter guy. Two fuck buddies, emotional. We're just gonna break it down to emotions versus non-emotional. Who gets more results? This guy, non-emotional. Next student, not emotional at all. This guy. There's 7 lays in Europe. Chinese guy. Okay, and next guy, very emotional, as you can see through the bootcamp clip. You remember this guy. So this guy, he gets a check mark. This is all accurate. This guy is not emotional that much. Just regular. Just a regular person. This guy is not that emotional, as you can see in the bootcamp clip. Remember that tall guy with he's bald? Holy shit, right? So it's very strange that there's not a lot of people here. This student pulled twice on the bootcamp. Tall. He's not emotional either. He does not process with that much emotions. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Okay, next student. The problem is he didn't have enough emotions when he's coming to the boot camp, this guy from Australia. Next guy is not emotional at all. Filipino. You can see his testimonial. But you're starting to see a pattern here. So this guy from the Philippines, he's a little bit on the emotional side. And he did okay. This guy is not that emotional. Chinese student. This guy isn't too emotional either. Just a little bit, but not too much. So this guy is not emotional at all. Half Filipino, half white. So I attract a lot of students who are not emotional. Next one. Indian, not that emotional. He's not born in India. This guy's really emotional, as you can see from his testimonial. Just get right to it. Short Indian. This guy's extremely emotional. So you'll see a lot of Indians are very emotional. So this is like counting towards the tally of emotional. Another Indian guy, very, very emotional too. Another Indian guy, lost his virginity, super emotional to the max, autism. Another Indian, he's not born in India, but he's born in Asia. He's not emotional, Asperger's. He's an elite 30. Another Indian, very, very, very emotional to the max. Another student, Indian, not that emotional. So another Indian, very, very emotional. Right, this guy. So it's even across the board so far. Black student, not that emotional at all. Okay. Another black student, not that emotional either for him. Military guy. So are you seeing a pattern here? It's not exactly like one or the other. Black student, not emotional. I mean, he's very emotional. Sorry. Latino, very, 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 very emotional. So now that we're going through the whole thing, another Latino, so you can see a pattern of emotionality. He's extremely emotional, so we can count them all. We have count every single student. This guy, Latino, extremely, I would say 1,000% emotional. So every time I tell a student they're emotional, it's 100% accurate. So there seems to be another Latino guy, good-looking guy, tall, very, very emotional, super emotional. So this is like a pattern here. So we're gonna go down to Middle Eastern guy. So he's emotional, like crazy, a completely emotional person. Autism. This guy, you saw the 18-year-old guy, not emotional, although he can get offended very easily. He doesn't emote that well with women. This student, not super emotional. You know, the London guy, not emotional at all. Like he has no emotions. Russian student, not emotional. Not that emotional. And this student, German, right here, 4-year-old German who lost his virginity, not emotional at all. Now you're starting to see a pattern. So these are just some of the students. And if it's repeating itself, then I will not show it. But a Korean student, not emotional at all, like almost zero, but perfect social skills. So you're starting to see a pattern. That emotionality is like, half of them are emotional, half of them are not. And this white student, okay, Indian student. This guy is not too emotional too. 6'4" Indian guy. I'm going through the whole list, and you're gonna be very surprised by the science. Korean student. He's very, 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 very emotional. Holy shit. A little bit on the Asperger side. This guy, very chill, half Filipino, half white, not emotional at all. Very chilled. Next guy, Brazilian, like I said, Latino. Of course, is emotional. It's almost like given. They're all emotional and they're all kind of mentally unstable. So, another student, Chinese, not emotional at all. He did get depressed after he pulled twice and he thought he got it. And I was like, dude, I'm training. No, no, dude, I got it. I got this. I got this. A white student, not that emotional. Hello, this guy. But he did have a lot of like fear around women, but not like emotional. This guy, snowflake cunt, extremely emotional. So just to let you know, I'm not like all the stuff is accurate. So all you guys, you can dispute me or disagree with me. When I call you a snowflake, you're a fucking snowflake. Half native, half white, not emotional at all, zero emotionality. Korean, big Korean guy, not emotional at all. Not at all. Like, I'm talking about like not at all. This guy, white student, when he's emoting, he doesn't emote that much, just a little bit, just normal like everyone else. So now you're starting to see a pattern here. And like I said earlier, in case you missed it, you guys are just showing up here, you can kind of see the overall pattern here. Half the students are emotional and half of them are not. So basically, if that's the case, it's all scientifically documented. I also documented all the students who are having screenshot testimonials. So altogether, we have found 51 students are non-emotional that got results in laid. And we found 31 students who are emotional and that did not get laid. And now you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, I thought because women have emotions and other dating coaches tell you it's all about their emotionality. But let's break it down, because I'm going to use scientific studies to show this, to debunk this. I'm also going to use evolutionary psychology, every single type of science, to debunk this, because it's more of a game of value than a game of emotions. All right, let's get to it, okay? So now that we know the breakdown, okay, so now it makes more sense. So with people who are more emotional, my theory or claim is that they're more autistic. Because they're more autistic, their sensory perception is stronger. And because of that, it affects their emotions, especially when they have high narcissism and low self-esteem. So this is very common among certain ethnicities, like Indians or Latinos. They're very emotional. It's not because they are good people. Emotionality does not imply empathy. Emotionality implies low self-esteem, high ego, triggered, as they call it. So, yeah. So what does that tell you? Is it the best method to train students? Can you talk more about how you separate emotions from non-emotional students? Certainly. I have certain students that are more autistic-like. They get triggered easier. They feel very emotional, offended, and around women, they have this emotional processing. They're more into the right brain processing, which is the emotional center side. The logical side is more on the left brain. I know it's a very simplistic way of looking at it, but there are students out there that are more code and more social rather than more emotional when they day game. So that's how I'm separating it based on this criteria, not on like, yeah. So the students that are more autistic, sociopathic, and more autistic, whatever the fuck, narcissistic, like I said, they're more of the emotional type because they get offended easier and they're more emotional around women. But I'm trying to show there's no correlation between emotionality and more results. It's all about the race. It's all about the height. And also, let's look over the science. Okay, so I'm scrolling through the screenshots, but I was also, let's see. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's all height and stuff. So think about it this way. A tall white student is not emotional at all in a lot of cases. They don't have to connect with women. They can just get the phone number or they can bring her back home very easily. I'm not talking about the dating coaches who are autistic, white students. So basically, there was a guy that I knew in Vancouver, and he was really, really tall. Okay. You guys might know him. All right. For him, he was around 6'3", white guy. No matter what, he just couldn't get rejected. He could fuck up his approach and run up to her. He can make every single type of mistake imaginable. But somehow he just never gets rejected. Of all his phone numbers, he asks her out right away on the second or third text. So therefore, there's no text game involved. There's no skill involved. He has a good pull location. He's socially well adjusted, but he has no game whatsoever, and he's not an emotional guy. So what happened is when he was day gaming, 25% of the phone numbers will respond back. Maybe, I'm not sure what percentage comes out on a date, but 25% would meet him on a date. I'm not sure about his close rate. It could be very well 15% or 20, or maybe like 17%. But 25% of the phone numbers will meet on a date, so he gets a lot of dates just by being white, non-emotional. So my theory is not a theory, is that if that's white people, then what about tall black people? There's going to be tall black people that believes that they're emotional. or tall black looking people. They believe they're emotional, therefore that's how they get the women. They'll tell you empathy is very important and all this shit. But in reality, they are just like a Wi-Fi signal. They're vibing their SMV. That's all they're doing. So this emotionality thing is, is overrated. But you might be saying, John, I mean, you could just be like, okay, you're just singling out black people or black looking people, and you believe that this is just a theory. I want more proof, John. I want to see the science behind this. All right. But before we talk about this, okay, let's talk about a book called Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. According to this book, it was the first time, or not the first time, but somebody tried to put in a book format. They believe that women were more emotional and men were more logical. That is their consensus. That is their belief system. And based on what I've seen, I started to do some research. So according to psychological research, you can look up this site on my blog. I actually have that book, but I didn't read it yet. Okay, go to this one. The article from, you see, is a government site here. See this? On my blog right now, there's a government site that did all the psychological studies between men and women and how emotional they are. And also, capital T, I also posted all my students with a check mark for being more emotional, and the other ones, which is X, means less emotional. And I have found that there are 51 students who are more or less emotional, and 31 students that are less emotional, which is very strange, because you would think that the emotional student, because women are emotional, they'll have a huge tactical advantage. But in reality, that's not the case. So who is trying to tell you that emotionality equals empathy or more results? In reality, maybe is not that. Maybe it's just a race advantage or the perceived race advantage. We already established in previous YouTube Live scientifically that if you're tall, white, black, Latino, or Middle Eastern, you get a girlfriend almost automatically. We have determined that certain heights close faster in Daygame. This is not an opinion. We have broke down all the student results. I broke the color from green, yellow, and red. And now we're looking purely at the student results. I agree with women like men that are more grounded, women like men with high EQ. Exactly. So now let's look at the government and what they have found. On basis of this study, which includes a large community sample, we have reason to doubt that robust gender differences in whether and to what extent they perceive specific emotions to be present in the face. Men do have less confidence in their own emotional intelligence, including their own ability to perceive emotions on the face, than do women. However, their lower score does not predict the perception of target emotions, but it is associated with a stronger perception of traits of emotions that are not intended or not even present. We should keep in mind, however, the differences that we found were very small, and therefore we cannot speculate on social implications of these findings. So what they're trying to say is more research is needed on how men and women exactly differ in their perception of subtle emotions, because cues. We think it is important to gain more insight in this process because in most daily life situations, emotional cues are not so clear and straightforward as experimental research. So basically what they're saying is the scientific studies, it is not conclusive. And men and women, actually, when I look at all the charts, if we went over all the charts, it's very dry science that I would enjoy, but you guys would be like, bored. You'd be bored as shit. So basically, on the charts, you don't see a big difference in the score between men and women. That means either men, this is just now my opinion, it's possible that because we're men, we should be more grounded, as you said. This is a socially acceptable behavior. Men and women feel emotions pretty much the same level, which is very strange. But however, according to studies, physically, the brain is different. The men's brain is bigger than the women's. Okay. For decades, brain scientists have noticed on average, male brains tend to have a slightly higher total brain volume than female ones. Even when corrected for male larger average body sizes, but it has proved notoriously tricky to pin down exactly which substructures within the brain are more or less voluminous. Most studies have looked at relative small sample size, typically fewer than 100 brains, making a large-scale conclusion impossible. So we know that while the brains are physically different, men and women, according to this government study, they actually feel emotions pretty much the same. The only difference is women can feel more subtle emotions that more than men. It's kind of like they can see more of the vibrational frequency of a signal compared to men. And men are a little bit more or less confident. But however, in all the new people that just showed up right now, I have actually showed you guys all the students that were emotional and not by a tick mark. You see that? Tick mark, emotional, not. I've counted every student. That's why I was here. I was so fucking shocked at the results. I was so fucking shocked, guys, that I was so fucking mesmerized and kind of fucked up by it. I can't believe that the students that are less emotional are getting way more results. And I will go through every single testimonial, also the screenshot ones. Did you was bully when you were in school? No, I was actually more of the bully. So I bullied other people a little bit. So I can't say I'm proud of it, but yeah. Anyways, as I was saying, based on everything, let's see. It's hard to read. I need glasses. Guys, mind if I wear glasses a little bit? My eyes are really fucked up. Don't laugh at me. I can't see shit without glasses. Will you categorize yourself as emotional or non-emotional? I am non-emotional. I would say that you'll see. I'll continue. All right, now I can kind of see this shit. Okay. So according to this John Gray book, Men Are From Venus, or Women Are From Venus, Men Are From Mars, or whatever the fuck. This generation, we have a lot of snowflakes. Men have become more feminine and women have become more masculine. So it has nothing to do with how you emote. In mystery method, they say attraction switch, right? Emoting is very important. So basically, fuck, I shouldn't have made this so fucking big. It's 25. All right, so what do I recommend? What do I recommend? Because of the game, if we look at the pieces of the game, I would recommend, rather than focusing on the emotional side, because if you're a short Asian guy, this may not be enough. I think if you look at this chart, social skills, social calibrations, emotional intelligence in game. When you look at the overall chart for the upper half, this side is way bigger than just over here. See that? Than over here. So in reality, why will you not focus up here when you want to emote? Because you may not get over that line of fuckability. If this is a line of value, and this is a different race, that's value wherever you are. If you're a tall, black-looking guy, then it doesn't take much for you to emote over that line. And that's like when you're denying the value. You don't even have to be black, you just have to look black. You don't have to be white, you just have to look white. You don't have to be Latino, you just have to look Latino. You don't have to be Middle Eastern, you just have to look Middle Eastern. So basically, depending where you are, a little bit of emotions or vibing it might be able to get you over that line. But however, if you don't have that kind of value, I would definitely focus on this aspect, because in evolutionary psychology, the ability to navigate different tribes, that social skills might actually be bigger than social calibrations, although social calibrations have gotten my students so much goddamn results. So, it's like earphones. All right. Isn't that amazing? So basically, the scientific research is starting to favor. Those glasses look terrible, John. I know. You look like a hipster accountant now. Okay, fine. Thanks. So yeah. So basically, if emotions were the most important thing, then you would say that black pill, the most emotional, snowflake, autistic, sociopathic people, would be the most successful with women. Or you would say RSD victims would be the most successful with women because they are the most emotional people, because RSD Tyler does not want to offend them. because that's why he talks in such a comforting way. Hey, guys, actually Tyler here. I just want to say, hey, I just want to talk to you guys. It's so important that the reason why he talks like that and trying to charm the sheeps is because he doesn't want to offend the sheeps. So therefore, they don't want to offend the autism because the high narcissism and low self-esteem. They're already hurt. So the more they offend them, the less business they make. So whoever is telling you that being more emotional is a good thing is because there's more money involved by believing in that. Because maybe their audience could be very emotional. So how many days a week are you doing day game in the beginning? Beginning of what? Like, are you talking about like beginning of when I started Daygame or beginning of now? So John doesn't support numbers game type advice. Yeah, exactly. I don't even believe it. There's a fucking science to all this. It's down to a science, down to a like numerical science now. So basically, what I'm saying is that science does not support such a claim. So most likely these theories are delusional and sociopathic. Red pill, whenever a person is red pill and they give you red pill advice and there's no scientific basis, there's opinions, there's facts. Most likely there's a very sociopathic, delusional sort of behavior behind it. They are value deniers. They're value deniers. So if they have an agenda, is Machiavellianism, psychopath or sociopathy, sadism, and narcissism. It's called dark tetrad. So because of the Machiavellianism, they would tell you that is emotionality, looks don't matter. It's always about empathy. It's never about the value. It's always about some other game related shit. Because they did this or they did that. They literally have opinions as facts. Sociopaths are delusional and literally believe what they say becomes the truth merely because they say it. Charles Manson, for a sociopath murderer, is famous as saying, I never killed anyone. I don't need to kill anyone. Sounds like a charisma kingdom. I just think it up here and point in a temple. I don't need to live in this physical realm. What the fuck? That's how they think. So the more, they're actually, in my opinion, because they believe that if you're emotional, you're empathetic. You're emotional, you're empathetic. But I would say that's probably not true. Because according to this, scientific research, our work shows is not that simple. They don't lack empathy, but they have a switch to turn it on and off by default. It seems to be off. So for a lot of these people, the empathy switch is always off. The fact that they have a capacity to switch empathy on, at least under certain conditions, could have a positive side to it. Professor Kaiser said, the notion psychopaths have no empathy at all was a bleak prospect. It would have made it very hard for them to have normal moral development. So basically, they done MRI research on criminals and stuff, and they found that most of the time, the empathy switch is on the off. It's not because, so that really, the whole idea is that emotion equals empathy. You really think these sociopathic, autistic, snowflake cunts are really empathetic if you're sociopathic? No. It's just emotional because their autism and their ego is so high that the self-esteem is so low. It's always happening. So they get triggered. In fact, the self-esteem is so low for this generation of people. I've noticed a lot of people are triggered these days. This woke movement, social justice movement, triggered this, safe space that. I've never seen it in my fucking lifetime before because I'm older than I look. I'm much older than I look. I didn't come from this generation. This is very new to me when I see people getting triggered over words and stuff like that. But this is a manifestation of low self-esteem. Low self-esteem equals higher emotionality. All right, let's continue. So basically, some people can be sociopathic and they can be antisocial. They can be wearing a mask. So instead, the mask, they can actually read people's emotions and adapt the mask in order to fool people. So they're always constantly trying to screw people over, manipulate people. It looks like they're emotional, but in reality, they don't feel emotional on the inside. So they just pretend to feel emotions. So this is what he says. A psychopath can, or in this case, I think it's a sociopath too, can have a very high form of cognitive empathy. So that's the name of it. Cognitive empathy. Cognition is like ones and zeros. In fact, they are very good at reading other people, even though they can understand people's emotions, it doesn't register emotionally with them. They have no emotional empathy. You might be thinking, John, like, you are not sociopathic, Machiavellian, deluded. You tell people the truth about your student results, evolutionary psychology. Then now even psychological studies from government sites with all the studies, you're thinking, well, John, if you did this, won't you lose money by telling people the truth of how the game really works? I don't care. I'm not in it for the money, guys. I'm just going to tell you guys the motherfucking truth. Angel, just do it 3 days a week. I'm from much older than I look. I am. What the fuck? No, I'm actually. I started Daygame in 2001, dude. So I'm pretty much from an older generation. 2001 is like a long time ago. Really, really long time ago. I started Ross Jeffries Gaming University. So it's not like old generation. No, I actually am like old as fuck. You can see some of the white hairs here, right? It's just, I just look a little bit on the younger side. So it's kind of confusing. Mr. Whatever. Yeah. All right. So it doesn't matter if I tell people the truth and lose money, but no one can ever break the formula now that looks out of 10, money is out of 5, status is out of 10 for ethnicity, game, including all these categories, is out of 10. So emotions is just a very small part of the overall chart, guys. And that's the thing. Maybe you find me too cold and scientific, but like I tell you guys, wear elevator shoes, become over 5'9". Widen your shoulders and V-shape your back, the arrow theory, which I'll talk about in the next YouTube live. Also work on a good Instagram to raise your status pre-selection. Talk to 10 people a day to socialize or to rehearse the TV show Friends until your awkwardness can infiltrate until you're not awkward and you can infiltrate any tribe. The way you're talking to them, exactly like you're having social skills. Like, hey, bro, what's up? Yeah, man, things are going pretty fucked up right now. How are you doing? That if you can talk like that to other people, you can infiltrate any single tribe easily. Practice Elite 30 from hard case to hero for outer game. And stop being emotional snowflake cunt. So my theory is very simple. It's very, very simple. It's like, don't be too emotional. But let's look at more of my student results, because the people that just showed up here, I have already shown the people that which students are emotional. Hold on a second. Which students are emotional and which ones are not. So basically, hold on a second. Basically, fuck. So basically, you can kind of see who is emotional snowflake cunt and who is not. And they're all X's and Y's. But what if I told you all this time when you're looking at the testimonials and stuff, this is only a small part of it. Black guy has a tall neck and food will travel in it. How many followers is good enough for Instagram? I wouldn't worry about Instagram, because if you have the right algorithms, right? It's not just pre-selection and lifestyle, but if you have the right algorithms only my students know from the inner circle, then you will create conversions. They don't even care about the numbers. One student got 60 lays, a Chinese guy. And so far, it doesn't even matter how many followers he has. He doesn't have that many. Because once they see the algorithm, her mind becomes cold traffic. It goes to warm and hot right away. It's almost like less than 10 seconds, it goes to hot. And now she's texting him. Now she's chasing him. So that is what happens. It is not so much about the, about how many followers. In fact, it doesn't matter. So your pictures should have the right algorithm. It's not about like just pre-selection where you stand in a nightclub like some of these other dating coaches. Some people don't like nightclubs. Or it's not about like goddamn fucking just your stupid goddamn lifestyle, which is probably shit anyways. So all right, let's continue. So if we go past my student results, even beyond even beyond those screenshots, because I have way too many fucking student results. 1 second. we're gonna scroll all fucking day. Holy shit. You're gonna be like, oh my god, why does John have so many testimonials? Before, I could add more to the science of it. Wow, why am I writing so much shit here? Okay. Okay, student results. There's too much fucking text. I better pare it down. So here's all the student results for the you know, the video testimonials and shit. So, but let's go to the screenshot stuff. Okay, there's just gonna be too many, guys. We're gonna scroll down all day. This is gonna take all day to get through. So, fuck. Now we got bootcamp videos. It's not even all done yet. It'll keep going on and on. Angel, your fat ass is too insecure to have a profile pic. This is funny. All right. So let's begin. So we're gonna go through all the student results and shit. Fuck. There's gonna be so many fucking student results, but we're gonna talk about the ones that are you see how far this goes? It'll keep scrolling forever. We can scroll for 20 minutes in a row and we'll never get through all this shit. So I'm just gonna have to find the students that are not on this screenshots. They're not on the screenshots that are like for the video testimonials. So this guy over here is he adds 1 to the non-emotional. Okay. Another guy. Okay, this guy. I remember all the students, by the way. So if we're looking through students and stuff like this, I know this guy polled twice and he fucked up. I remember every single student. So there's gonna be too many students. This guy has no emotions whatsoever. He has a good vibe, but he's not emotional at all. But he also got laid under my training. 3 kiss closes, 1 BJ for so far. And okay, this guy is half native. Let's see what else. You can just take my word for it. Polled Russian student. Yeah, I already have like a boot camp of him, the Russian students. Polled, no sex, but got a blowjob. How are you? Right. Like I remember all these students. Got 2 dates tomorrow. Yeah, one of them is I met British, blah blah blah. Got laid, but I already posted his in the boot camp. It'll keep going on and on. Let's see what's next one. Because you're gonna see a lot of people, Caucasian, Filipino. He must be that guy who's half Filipino, whatever. Half BJ, yes. There's gonna be too many fucking students. Korean student, yeah, he's that guy. Okay, this student got Filipino. He's got over 150 lays under my training. So he's one of my best students. I think he's the best student. He has perfect social skills. He has my fashion sense. Boyfriend and no sucking her pussy 3 a.m. Just closed my 43rd. So he's already like past like a certain point, and that's how I count 150. Now he's starting to close like more women and stuff. That's still quite kind of attractive. We'll just keep going on and on, but yeah. Same day lay, one of my 8 lays in Daygame, Barcelona. Afterwards, he wanted to take like some kind of like night game program, but he gives me the testimonials for Daygame. So here's him on top of a woman's ass. But it's censored, don't worry about that. But he's got so many lays and stuff. It's kind of like, what the fuck? So this is a guy who's basically not emotional. I would say that he has 0 emotionality, and he is like 100% social skills. I just taught him more of the game. He already has my fashion. He already has the Instagram. He already has all that shit going. That's 150 lays right there. So very proud of him. Very proud of him. That goes to show he's only 5'5" or something, and he's Filipino. So it goes to show that by stacking the things in your favor, he also wears heel lifts too, guys. He knows all my technologies and stuff. So, John, you look. Shit, I'm not gonna say anything. But you look 27. I can look whatever age. So if I want to look younger, right? I just use a Korean jaw roller like this, and I can relax the face muscles, and you'll see. After a while, I'll look younger. Finish a date. You'll see. I know it looks kind of weird, but you see the muscles over here? You can actually make it thinner. You see that? And then Okay, don't wait too long. She'll lose interest. Good. Schedule date Sunday. Student 13. Okay, emotional student. 1 second. There's just too many fucking testimonials. So I know every single theory on how to change my physical appearance. I know every single tips, tactics. Other lay, no. Okay, I'm just scrolling through more and more students just to see like which ones does not have a video testimonial. Other black student. Guy's in the video testimonial already. Let's see, Latino. He's in the video testimonial. This guy, boot camp, he's already in the boot camp video. Okay. So there's a lot of screenshots. Okay, this guy, I forgot to count his one. This guy's very emotional, so he's Cuban, but he got like a. Okay. But I ended up getting a hand job from the same girl I pulled last week. Good for you. African. Okay. African student. I already have his video testimonial. And here's the other short 5'4" dude who basically is banging 2 models. Yeah, white and Asian. So he's already in the video testimonial. John, I love how you had any successful uglier students, or is it just not possible without Max? John, you have you had any successful uglier students, or is it just possible without maximizing arrow theory? Actually, when you look at my students, the guy who's only 5 foot 50 years old. Remember that bald guy who's 50 years old? What about him? He got 6 lays, 1 blowjob, 2 different women. One became his girlfriend. And in Portugal, he pulled, all within the Kaizen program. So what does that tell you about the whole arrow theory, the race theory, all that stuff? Race does matter. He's white, got a girlfriend, all of it. Like, the whole thing is just a science, guys. That means he has 0 in the way of looks. He's only like 1 or 2 out of 10. I even tell him that. Like, you ugly fucking bald piece of shit. German Scheiße piece of shit. And they're like, yeah, whatever. And we have fun like that. So it's hilarious. So see, the jawline's getting thinner. Have you noticed that a little bit? There's almost like a 1 centimeter reduction, which is weird, right? So, but he isn't he tall? He is only 5'7", guys. So he had to wear elevator shoes to make the height. So you're like, what the fuck? Everything is down to a science. Here's another guy who's Indian. He got a pull. So he pulled, and then that was the end of his training right here. He pulled from a day 3 or something. And yeah, not that emotional. Another guy who's not emotional at all. This guy is Asian. He's Thailand. So he's added to that one too. The thing is that he's like he's really tall. I think he's like 6'1" or maybe 5'11" or something. I forgot his height, like 6 foot tall. But that was a fast blow job. It's been a few days since his Skype. So she's Latina, bro. So he was a former, like, he bought Jan's program, got no results, and he's like, Jan is trash. But did F close a different day? But you can see like yeah. Jan's program has no student results. Is bullshit. So. I pulled before like 3 or 4 times, but not laying. Got laid off school, but it's purely off looks. She was into me. We hung out and laid. She was white. Great. And then let's see next student. So there's a lot of students you have not heard about, but they somehow show up in the testimonials, the screenshots, especially black students, because they're very ungrateful. You're right about square jaw Asian women liking white men. Of course, you see that everywhere. You see that everywhere. It's almost freaky now. It's almost like in every single one. Oh, it's fucked up. It's only growing stronger. No, I mean, it's true. When I say about square jaw, you should Google right now Asian women and white guys, couples. They all have Asian women with square jaws. This is not a theory. It's just these Asian women have more of a testosterone into their jawline because they have more testosterone. Okay, here's the Indian student. He banged like so many different races. And here's an Asian woman he's banging. So here's him with a white girl. There's just too many student results. It'll go on forever. But I think he's in a video testimonial, so it doesn't matter. Are you guys trying to see a pattern here? So this is a boot camp student. Let's see what next guy. British, Vancouver. Yeah, I mean, that's the big tall guy. He's in a trailer. Here's a short. Boy, this guy's an Indian guy. I just pulled a HB, right? So not that emotional, but very unattractive. He started wearing blazers and shit. Now I remember him. Let's see. United States. He's in the divorce, ABC attraction. Yeah, this guy pulled him boot camp. Oh, this black guy is very interesting. So this piece of work over here with this doctor uniform, right? He was a Justin Wayne dick licker because he kept getting results, or he kept pulling, but he couldn't close with Justin Wayne's game. So I taught him a little bit about social comfort. So there's a problem if you're too lack of emotions. That helped him a lot. That's like an extreme other side of it. That means he has so much attraction. He pulled like more than 50 fucking times. But he didn't want to give me credit for it and make a video testimonial because he didn't want John Wayne to get Justin Wayne's credit. And he wants to ride Justin Wayne's dick as hard as he can and as fast as he can, up and down his ass. And at the same time, another one as well. Because that's the problem. Some of these black students, they want to give credit to somebody else. It's a same day lay, though even better. So since he's not giving me credit here, but you see there's a lot of students, he's not emotional, no. So they're not square jawed men. Okay, sorry. Social comfort is answer, bro. So for him, a little bit of emotions helped him get over that line. That means for tall black people, they just need a little bit of emotions. They don't need any game whatsoever. They need polling tactics and just a little bit of emotions like this guy. Chinese student trained with me. Let's see, who is he? Oh yeah, Asian student. 1 second. Yeah, he's also in the testimonial already. So another student polling. Australian student gets laid. Oh yeah, another ungrateful black. So let's read his testimonial. This is a guy without much emotions, but for him, this is his first poll with 3 women. He's a short black guy. So hello, ungrateful black. Can you stop being emotional? John, what can you do to stop being emotional type of person, or you just have those students work hard on social? That's a really, really good question. You asked the right question. If you guys are liking this, give it a thumbs up. I know this is really fucked up to some of you, but it'll be very helpful if you give it a thumbs up. Not that I give a shit, but so it was a poll, not a lay. So that was his first poll, that black student. Ungrateful black. Maybe he's trying to give credit to other people. But he finally lost his virginity. Okay, he says off to the military. So he finally lost his virginity, and short blacks never give me credit for anything. So John got laid using your method. Is there any way I can call you because I'm worried about her though? So this is the girl. He banged a young hot white girl, and he was worried when he called me that if he caught HIV or something. And I told him that it's very unlikely he'll catch HIV because it's like 1 out of 500 times. It's good to use a condom, but he didn't use one. But he lost his virginity. What do you mean about a bit about emotions? You're talking about being more nice. See, you have no idea what emotional intelligence is. So that answers the question. You're not the emotional type, if that makes sense. So I guess I'm more triggered in field. Okay, so I want to answer your question, Blake. The reason why my students, they wear nice watches and they wear nice clothing is that it raises the self-esteem. So when you're dressed nice, you start to feel better about yourself. You should give it a try even at home, dress nicer. You actually start to lower the ego and raise the self-esteem for your emotional intelligence. All my students are forced to do that. And when you learn high income skills and stuff, right? What happens is that competence equals confidence. The more you learn skills like this is copywriting, how to write sales letters. The more you're capable, because people keep saying simp this, simp that, simp money beta. No, fuck you. Most of these guys have 2 jobs, and one of them is pretending to be a dating coach and giving bullshit advice. It's not about simping. It's about confidence. You have a core confidence when you're capable of using high income skills and making some money. There's a good feeling when you're a slave to the system and COVID-19 wipes everything out and you're depending on government stimulus and CERB checks. You don't feel good about yourself. So the self-esteem goes down. Your capabilities raises your overall core confidence, even when you're working out. But the problem with the dark tetrad, the sadistic, sociopathic, narcissistic Machiavelli manipulators, the problem is that every single time they dress nice, they start to look in the mirror like this. This feeds their ego instead of feeding their self-esteem. Does that make sense? So it's feeding the wrong chambers in their mind. And what happens is it goes in reverse. This is when they have more the red eye sort of evil Indian sort of behavior, lower self, depressed snowflake cunt, lower self. And then it goes down to the red eye gear where they're completely evil as shit until they crash the car and they go back to depressed snowflake cunt. And the whole process keeps repeating itself. So this is a lack of self-esteem that a lot of Indians have experienced. Right now in India, things are so bad with COVID-19 that poor people are infiltrating the villages or cities and they're basically stealing all the food. People are serving food. When you pay for food, they just run away. They're basically a mother and son. When the mother died from COVID-19 in the subway, the son is just left there. Nobody cares. India is a place. If you're talking about emotional people equals empathy, I'll argue emotional equals less empathy and more evilness, more lower spiritual IQ. So it's very dangerous. Whenever I see a PUA and emotional, there's not empathy. There's no empathy. It's more like emotional, more evil, more red-eyed, more dangerous. That's how I see it. Yeah, great advice. I had lower self-esteem since quarantine, since I start dressing like crap. That's exactly what you need to do. You need to force yourself to start dressing better as if your life depended on it. You'll start to reclaim some of the self-esteem. And you sometimes it's not so much about inside out. It's not about affirmations equals your self-esteem. Sometimes it's about outside in. By dressing better, I feel better, I speak better, and overall, I do stuff much better. So this core confidence sometimes needs to be an outside in component, guys. It's not always like this inner game RSD whatever bullshit and dressing like shit that you feel good in here and then outside. No, it's not inside out. It's outside in. When it's outside in, then it can become inside out. You can control your thoughts and feelings, right? But at the same time, if you're in a very nice place, like a nice, sometimes you can raise your self-esteem by going to places that you want to own one day. A visualization trick. Let's say you want to own a very nice apartment. You can sit in the lobby and they're like, why are you sitting there? I just want to absorb the vibe. The outside in will force your thoughts and feelings to get used to it. So when you're used to nicer watches and your nicer clothing, your brain starts to accept it as your new normal. So emotionally, your brain will say, you know what? I can get used to a nice watch like this. And then you want to make more money to make more. So it's almost like playing tricks on your mind. So if you have like a lot of money, even if you talk to your money, it's just saying, I thank you, money. I love you, money. You've been so nice to me. If you talk to money like your girlfriend, I know it sounds really crazy. If you were saying the kind of things to money that you say to your girlfriend, like, you're not the most important thing in my life. I don't need you. Money's the root of all evil. Your money will leave you because that's the mindset and the feelings. So you can see the feelings and mindset is very important for everything that you do. I hope that answers your question, but this start with outside in, dude. Outside in, go to nice places that you wish you own one day. Go into Bentley dealerships, Rolex stores, and try out the watches. All this stuff will raise your self-esteem and raise your standards. I hope that makes sense, Blake. In fact, that's a really great piece of advice. And a lot of my students, they're forced to wear nice watches. They don't have to be a Rolex for real. It just has to look like one. It has to feel like one. Yeah, that answers my questions. Thanks for insight. No problem. So now you're starting to see that emotional students are usually the worst students. So Reality. RSD and all the red pill people, they're preying on the emotional students. And emotional students is less likely to get results or delay results. But it's not like a big difference. That means, yes, there's almost twice as many students getting results. So for the people that believe because the student's more psychopathic, therefore they need to change the hardware. This is the big lie. The big lie is that because the student is less emotional, then you have to adapt and change the teaching styles to match them. That is a big lie, guys. A big fucking lie. Think about it this way. Have you guys seen my boot camp? When you saw me yelling at the student, you stupid fucking asshole, do some squats. You guys saw that, right? So it doesn't mean by being more emotional equals better results or adapting to the person's triggerness or the lack of self-esteem. In fact, the better thing to do is to treat it like the military. In the military, people get results because they have submitted their ego aside. And when they get treated like a drill sergeant and yelled at, where's the best place to talk to women? Anywhere outside with women. You know, go fish where the fishes are and use the right bait. That's the answer. Fish where the fishes are and use the right bait. So that's where the traffic is. Even marketing, where's the best place to find potential students? Well, where the fucking students are. Just like where's the best place to find women? Where the fucking women are. Hope that answers your question. Fish where the fishes are and use the right bait. But now you're starting to see that the more you're like a drill sergeant, I don't actually have to worry about the student being emotional or not. You see all these students, when you look at the student results and you look at the 31 emotional snowflake cunt, okay? So for the 31 students that are emotional snowflakes, what happened is the more you yell at them, so they don't get too emotional, the more results they get, because most people cannot teach these guys. And if these guys get any results, they're always part of a certain race. They're always part of tall whites, black looking, Middle Eastern, or Latinos. So therefore, if you're emotional snowflake cunt, but you happen to be these kind of races and you're tall, you may get a girlfriend and you might feel like, oh, that's so great. A girlfriend is because of my emotionality or some bullshit. But no, you are tall, white, black, Latino, or Middle Eastern looking. So therefore, they automatically get girlfriends. They're tall, they close easier. And now you realize by being more emotional, you're less stable. You're less stable. I hope that's starting to make sense, guys. Because if we look at the chart of emotionality right here, okay, this is like high, too high, and too low. Maybe instead of going too low or too high, you want to be somewhere in the middle here. You want to be grounded, but you want to use your emotions when you want to. So the whole idea is that people cannot tell when to use the emotions to counterattack is bullshit. The reason why some of these students cannot read emotions is because they're autistic. I can read the emotions just fine. I'm just like, I just don't care. I'm not very like caring about what women thinks. So in reality, sometimes a tougher motherfucker, like my Pakistani mentor, he doesn't give a shit what women thinks. He doesn't. By him not giving a shit what women thinks, they start chasing him. They start chasing him. I remember my Pakistani mentor. I should not talk about this, but because you guys stayed here this long, I'm going to teach you one of the very advanced methods that has never been talked about in the PUA world. Are you guys ready to hear it? About how to use emotionality or the lack of emotions to get women in line. To get women in line. If you guys want to hear it, just say yes. Please tell me, John. I'll tell you. If not, then I'm just going to ignore it and just move on. So who wants to learn? Yep. Okay. All right, let's get to it then. This is the big secret that they don't want you to know. If my Pakistani mentor is getting women who are 9 out of 10 every single time, there's no 8 out of 10 and there's no 10 out of 10. It's all 9 out of 10. I believe I have reverse engineered how he did it. First of all, over here, it's not about being more emotional or matching her emotions. It's not about, oh, I gotta feel love, therefore she's gonna start to feel love. No, he actually he in the beginning, he'll kind of like insult her. It's not like a nag or anything. It's more like a fucking cunt punch, multiple cunt punches. At this point, no guy has ever treated her like this. And all of a sudden, she's shocked. She's like, what the fuck just happened? But he's the only guy who has ever treated her like that, because all the other guys are the opposite. All the other guys are trying to be a snowflake cunt, trying to connect with her. When they connect with her, they're off the line. They're off the line. So when he's doing like this cunt punches, he's actually on the line. So rather than her wanting to leave because she's going to classify you the same as all the other guys out there. And the guy who treats her like shit in the beginning, now she's like intrigued because he's willing to walk away. His vibe is that, fuck you, I'm willing to walk. I don't give a shit what you think. But she's like, oh my God, I've never seen a guy like this before. Now she's chasing him. Now she's like, fuck, she better be in fucking line. But how else is this possible? Because my Pakistani mentor told me to study Iceberg Slim. Who is Iceberg Slim? He's a black pimp. In the beginning, he sucked at it, but he went to prison and he learned all the lines necessary. Like shut up, bitch, right? You stink ass pussy, right? Who the fuck you think you are? I can turn you out and replace you really quickly. And she's like, okay, daddy, or something like that. Okay, daddy, and she will submit. So therefore, my Pakistani mentor, his game is completely different than the whole POA industry. Nowhere has anyone ever made a woman submit because they're so busy trying to emote with them and trying to connect with them and all this other shit, trying to high five them. He's actually bitch slapping them mentally. Nobody's ever seen a game like this before. But this is the kind of game I used before, you know, at my very, very prime, when I'm getting these women way taller than me, way younger and way hotter. When a guy like me, although my golden ratio is high, when I'm getting that, I'm doing exactly the same game. That was before John Wayne. That was gaming late, trained by my Pakistani mentor. 2015, 2016, he was training me heavily. He was grooming me to take over the whole industry. He didn't like the POA industry. He wanted to destroy it. And I was like, okay, I'm ready to destroy this industry. But however, he changed his mind later on. But at that time when he was training a SAP game, lifestyle game, lead generation, all this other shit. So this is like way more powerful than their shit. By the time, he would really treat women like shit. I've never seen anything like it. He would literally text women, you can't bring panties. She's like, why not? You can't fucking bring panties here. And I was like, what the fuck kind of game is this? And she's like, okay, I don't know what to do. You're not gonna bring panties, otherwise you're not gonna come over. And then when they come over, here's the funny thing. So here's the Pakistani mentor. When the women, let's say one of them from Daygame, 1 in 3 comes out to his mansion. So for all the guys saying simp this and that, emotionally, he was not an emotional guy, but he bitch slaps them mentally. They come to the mansion, okay? He fucks them. And he tells her, fuck off, because he's too busy to talk with her. Now these women are chasing like crazy. The second woman, the same shit. Fuck off. After the 14 women in a row, all the same thing. So he becomes the hot chick, him, not the women. The women are chasing after him. And this kind of stuff has never been seen in the POA world. And is not done through being emotional. This is almost like the opposite by being a cold motherfucker. Because when he tells me that he, turns women out, what he means by that is he really fucking bitch slaps her like, in real life. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not saying he did anything wrong, but they like it. They submit it. Every time he would make a woman a fuck buddy, he will fuck her so hard, so many times, and he's very sadistic in that regard. That's not emotional. That's a fucking psychopath. But that's okay. That's okay. But that's how POAs are like. You have to admit that most of them are socio or psycho. Asperger's, which is more technical, or autistic, which is more cuntish, trigger snowflake emotional. Or they're more ADHD, they cannot focus for shit. Or they are more OCD, which they're more like, look, everything has to be in the exact order and shit, or they're perfectionist motherfuckers. Or else they're delusional or depressed, snowflake cunts. But some of them are depressed and delusional at the same time. So now you're starting to see a new type of game. The less emotions, the more you're like Iceberg Slim. You should look him up. This motherfucker is cold because he used to beat women with a fucking coat hanger. I'm not condoning that shit, but the thing is that to learn how to submit a woman, as you can see in my boot camp clip, I told people to treat her like a puppy. You lead it. This new mindset that she has no value. Even if she barks, you don't get emotional about it. It's like a whole different style of game. So if my students are getting more results by not being emotional, it's not about emotionality. Emotionality ain't shit. It's about emotional control. Emotional control. So if a guy is like black pill or their impossible case, autistic RSD snowflake cunt, it is better to control your autism and to reduce your autism rather than trying to be more emotional impact. Because if you have a dead fish vibe on the inside, you have this negative or this weird fucking dreadful vibe that my impossible case students has. You don't want to vibe that flirt or that tease because it's contaminated. It's contaminated. So learning how to normalize your emotions, so it's not too high or not too low, right? Emotions high or low. Get back in the middle, neutral. That's what you want. Now you're thinking, holy shit, how come nobody talks about this shit? They're always saying, oh yeah, empathy is important. Of course it's important. Use your cerebral empathy or whatever it's called. You know, use that kind of empathy and look at her emotions and adapt to it. That's easy. And the problem is that for the students who cannot adapt to it and they're very narcissistic and autistic, is because they only see a woman and they see like the smiley face. If she's giving a fake fucking smile, she's really mentally disturbed. They don't see the stress in the eyes of her, like, oh my god, what the fuck, man? Like, why is this guy like talking to her? They don't see that stress in that fake smile when he's standing next to her taking a picture. They don't see that. They only see this. So maybe there are other things that you can notice about women. Maybe through the sounds, maybe through the smell, because you can smell the cortisol, or you can smell the pussy juice. You can smell the sweet nectar. You can tell because when she has cortisol, it smells like adrenaline. So you know you need more comfort. And also you can tell not just their facial expression, because you're always looking for positive reactions. You ever thought about listening more carefully to the stress in her voice or the way she's standing with her body? That's what the guy didn't know. The guy who's got 2 same-day lays with no emotional intelligence whatsoever, as you saw in my boot camp clips. Zero. But somehow he's able to close when I told him in your coaching how to keep her on the line. And he could not tell. I don't even have to look at the girl. I can turn around. And guess what happens? I can still tell him exactly what to do because not only can I hear it, I already know it because I can empathize in a more cerebral way. So you don't have to be emotional snowflake cunt. Now you're starting to realize, holy shit. So basically less emotions equals more student results. That's how it's always been. Raise your self-esteem, guys, so you can lower the ego and lower the emotions. Laughing my ass. John, please don't move on. Yep. John, please don't move on. Yes, laughing my ass off. All right. Any more questions before I go? I think I made my point. That's all I want to say. That's all I want to say. So this is all a misconception about emotionality or equals empathy. Bullshit. Emotionality equals dangerous. Equals dark tetrad equals evilness, low spiritual IQ. Emotionality equals low self-esteem, high ego. And that's why they don't want to offend the sheeps. Because when they offend the sheeps, then they'll make less money. So for me, I say the more psychopathic you are as a person, or more like less emotions, you probably make a better student for me. And there's tons of people like that out there. They're always like, oh, let's not label people as psychopaths. So they're POAs, for fuck's sakes. You think POAs are normal fucking people? My Pakistani mentor, I said like him to that. I said, are they like that? And he's like, yeah. He said the DNA of a POA has to be like this. Otherwise, they can't do what they do. And I agree with him. POAs are all born like this. 4% of the population is socio, 1% is psycho. Doesn't mean violent, but it means lack of empathy. However, they seem to found their way into the RSD's hot seat, or watching RSD, or they're gravitating toward that shit. And it's comorbidity, so it's multiple mental illnesses. Like I said, it's more than one, it's many. So this is dark triad, or psychopath, or socio. Then you got the autistic or Asperger's, right? Then you got your OCD, or fucking ADHD, and then lastly you got the delusions or depression. So all of them have it. It's just which one of the combination do they have? Are they more this way? So what happens if the student's more socio, and he's more autistic, and he's more like ADHD, which is common among impossible cases. And lastly, they're more delusional and depressed. Anyways, they have both. You see that? And now it becomes a new personality Briggs test. That means when I teach these kind of students, they'll be yelled at more with more discipline to keep on the line. John, if you don't call it a neg, what do you call it personally? Is it a push-pull? Obviously not. So I call it a sledgehammer. It's a harder than a fucking tease or a harder than a push-pull, harder than in that kind of stuff. Sometimes it's more like a cunt punch. That's the extreme level of, don't give a fuck. When you see me day gaming, sometimes when I look at Brazilians who are very flaky towards Asian men, I use them as punching bags, but not physically, metaphorically. I know it's not politically correct, but they're the perfect tools for teasing as an Asian. I'd be like, you like Donald Trump? He's awesome, right? Brazilians, right? You all have like code swords or something. Every time I see you, I nag the show. It's not just nagging. Nagging is like a light tease to make her feel insecure. This is more like a I don't give a fuck what you think kind of behavior. So in the animal kingdom, there are certain alpha that don't give a fuck what the women are thinking. See, it's all evolutionary psychology. It's the behavior game. It's not about personality game like guessing my personality. It's not about teasing and flirting and some bullshit like that or some faggot shit or some emotional connection. No, this is about behavior. Behavior. Because one time when I taught this to my old roommate, okay, he was texting somebody. This was way back then. And all of a sudden, she was like, he thought she was Asian. So he didn't give a shit. But he found it's a white woman. And it's like, what the fuck? This is way back then, before he met his girlfriend. But and there's like a white woman. And it's like, oh shit, now his text becomes needy as shit. So the behavioral game changes. The emotionality, it's not about emotions. It's about behavior. Now he's a low value behavior versus high value. Women can tell what a high value behavior is. So I hope that makes sense. Low, this isn't like the kind of what Donald Trump does. Then why do you think Donald Trump has so many women he grabs by the pussy? Why do you think so many women? Why do you think Donald Trump is a fucking player? Why do you think Donald Trump is the president? Why do you think Donald Trump has a hot-looking wife, Millennium Trump? Because he's behavior game. You get it? It works. It works. A high-value behavior game. This has never been talked about in the PUA industry. So the lack of emotions is a weapon and a tool for behavior game. This is the first time anyone's ever talked about it. Holy shit. The first dating coach in the world talk about it. Nobody will ever tell you these kind of things. This is the kind of things I should be teaching my inner circle, not you guys. This should be completely top secret. Don't forget to get my bundle, elite bundle, if you want to learn more from me, because there's Skypes. I think tomorrow's like the last day, and you're all like, you can't get it anymore for a deal. Anyways, continue. Yeah, I mean in a positive way. Sledgehammer sounds more pretty legit. It's not about pretty legit. It's more like a pimp is gonna have his pimp hand strong. That's the mindset. It doesn't mean you physically do that. It means mentally you do that, because women needs to submit. This is not stuff I should be teaching you. I should just zip my fucking mouth. This is too advanced for you guys right now. This is not advanced level game. This is expert level game. This is not public information, and it works like gangbusters. In fact, most of you can't do it. It might take you 3 or 4 years until you can walk away from women that you completely are in love with. Until the day you can walk away from the hottest women that you want to marry and tell her to fuck off, until you can do that, you can never do this style game. That's really hard. The willingness to walk away gives you this emotional power, this emotional control, this freedom. This is advanced. This is not advanced. This is expert. This is one level above advanced. This is not, okay, I'm going to shut the fuck up now. Pretend I didn't say anything. You guys didn't learn this shit. But it works like crazy. It fits with evolutionary psychology. 100%. You didn't learn this from me. Or maybe you did, but fuck. Maybe I should not have taught you guys this. Maybe I should just zip my fucking mouth and let you guys have your own fucking theories about the game. Man, my Pakistani mentor. All 9 out of 10s, all of those women. All 9 out of 10s. fucking 13 fuck buddies right before the coronavirus lockdown. What kind of mindsets does he have? What the fuck did he teach me? And I'm just saying, I shouldn't even talk about this stuff. Like, this is the mindset of some of the. He is the best pickup artist I know in my lifetime. The best of the best of the best of the best. All his women are hot. Too hot for. His social skills is perfect. His tonality is perfect. He is so good at this stuff. This is where the whole chart comes from. But this is stuff that, you know, you don't have to know. But he's not an emotional person. He's not. And when I learned this kind of game, like I said, emotional control versus emotional investment. All right, any more questions before I go? I'm going to go. I'm kind of tired. Originally, I wanted to sleep. And when I saw the student results, 51 versus whatever, like 31, I was so shocked. I was like, I got to get on YouTube Live right now. And you can see there's only one thumbs up, which means that you guys do not understand. It's okay that you don't understand. Okay. That's all I say. Any more questions? Thanks for the live stream. I don't know why POA teachers are such pussies. I don't know. They're just a little bit on the autism side. Oh, I can't really like play. Error. Try again. Okay. John, thanks. Okay, let's see if that works. I think for POAs, they're a little bit effeminate, and they're a little bit like autistic. And for me personally, I've done Israeli Krav Maga for like 5 years. So for me, fighting and stuff, I'm not afraid. So if anyone wants to attack me, any dating coaches in real life, I'll fight in self-defense. I don't give a fuck. So for me, I don't have any fear. None, zero. Let's see. John, please stay here longer. Tell us more about insider secrets. Well, what kind of insider secrets do you want to know? Like, specifically. Maybe I'll teach you one more. I'll teach you one more thing. But you guys, we have to never speak about this kind of stuff. This level of mindset, like almost like a pimp, just bitch slapping. This stuff should be top secret. The whole industry has not caught up yet. And you can see Johnny Lead's game, or my Pakistani mentor's game, is more than 100 years in the future, guys. It almost seems like everything I'm teaching you, not only does it work like crazy, the students getting so much results, and I have most student results in the world, most bootcamp student results. And how do you think I got all these bootcamp student results? I have over 26 students, bootcamps, pulls and lays. The runner-up has like 15 without my involvement. Otherwise, I get 8 more. How the fuck does John get so much student results? Because John's almost like a pimp. He treats his students like shit. Right? Shut the fuck up and submit, bitch. And then guess what? They say, yes, sir. And then guess what happens? They get like a fucking same day later or something, or get laid. Because John is like a tough, like a military. That's this. For my boot camps, nobody's gonna teach it like that. Because they're thinking, John, is it illegal that you're actually fighting your students, like physically, and teaching them how to fight and throw them around? I don't give a fuck. But like, what the fuck, man? That's like, or you might be thinking, John, you're yelling at your student, you're calling him a fucking snowflake cunt, shut the fuck up, make him do squats. Yeah. Okay, one more. Pimp mindset. Yeah, exactly. Also, military mindset. My boot camp is really no different than a fucking military Krav Maga boot camp. It really is the same thing. Because I do a lot of drills and exercises, and if the student gets out of line, they have to do push-ups and sit-ups in the middle of the boot camp. And all the stuff I teach them about fashion, social skills, everything. Every boot camp, as you can see in the video so far, and there are going to be more documentaries. Every student is taught differently. How come? How come every student is taught differently, but they all get roughly the same results? I'm telling you, these guys have no idea what game is really like. Because they're value deniers. They're value deniers, so therefore they will never have as many student results as mine, ever. And I've even finished. Come on, John, go more into the insider secrets, actual gaming shit, evolutionary shit. Yeah, but be more specific. What do you want to know exactly about it? Just ask me a question and I can talk about it deeper. There's so much deep secret shit that you have no idea. Like, there is so much deep secret shit that a lot of times, okay, I'll teach you another thing. The other thing is that most women, this is ignored by Justin and Wayne and stuff. They just walk with women. At some point, they're gonna start asking you questions because they want to find what frame you are. What's your ethnicity? Where are you from? Where are you? All this shit. That's ignored. He just touches and walks. All the naturals, the high value naturals, we use this as a weapon because we know around 6 or 7 minutes the women, and this is in the playbook that you guys didn't realize. The women will ask questions to see where you fit, which frame you fit into. Are you a boyfriend, fuck boy, friend zone, husband material, high value, daddy daughter frame? Which frame do you fit in? So she asks you questions, but you can use that against her because now you can use this as a way to DHV. So this is one of those top secret parts of the game. So for example, she might be asking what you do for a living, right? You can say, well, have you seen me in like Debbie Does Anal or something? It's me, I'm a porn star. She's like, really? No, what the fuck? You think I'm a porn star? You can almost use predetermined responses. And that's funny because not only does that emotionally fuck with her mind, it mentally slaps her. Then now she's laughing and now she becomes more compliant. You see that? She's like, how old do you think I am? She's like, I don't know, like 31. You fucking bitch. Are you like a cougar or something? Like you're a fucking cougar? Is that what you are? You're like chasing after like, younger whatever, fucking cougar? Or is she's like, you are 25? You're like, holy shit, are you psychic or something? Oh my God. You're psychic, right? You must be a spiritual person. So for that, you already have a predetermined response because you want her to guess you're a younger age and I'm way older than I look. You see that? This is one of those secrets of the game. So you don't have to use like Justin Wayne. Oh yeah, tell me something. I like girls who are very adventurous. Are you say a very adventurous person? Or say your looks, right? What else you got going for you? A more advanced method would be like, outside your looks, what else you got going for you? Because my mother always says I bring women home all the time, and she's tired of all these other women that have no personality. They're pretty, but they don't have a personality. So what are you doing? It's like, I just hope you're not going to disappoint her. You see that? When you say something like that, is a indirect DHV, as you can see in the screenshot. When my Pakistani mentor talked about indirect DHV bombs, precision bombs. That's exactly what he meant. Boom, but very indirect. She doesn't even know you're trying DHV. It's almost like it's like showing her a plate and covering it. Hope that makes sense. And also like other ways to number close. Right? There's too many secrets. For a lot of you, this stuff is going to be like too advanced for the world to know. Too advanced. And also sometimes we actually we'll pull women home to the mansion and we don't fuck them. We do it on purpose because we want to get used to pulling. So sometimes we'll leave like 4 or 5 women there and we'll just go to sleep. Some of them will leave the place and some of them will just sit there like, what the fuck is that? So there's a lot of these secret mindsets to improve your overall vibe, getting used to this shit. But it's okay bang ugly and fat girls until you get better with women. That's a question you should ask Justin Egler, not me. Unless you got 2 white guys next to you and then you just raise your golden ratio in value. But if you want to fuck ugly women, they're not good for your mindsets. One school of thought is that if you fuck ugly women, it helps your vibe. So therefore you can springboard. You fuck one and you go to a slightly better 5 out of 10, 5.5, 6 out of 10, 6.5, 7. But the problem with the springboard is my Pakistani mentor does not believe in it. A better question is, why don't you make some female friends? This is more of a top secret tactic from the inner circle. By making female friends and you bring them over, you get more comfortable with women inside your mansion. Because when you get more comfortable, then when you start pulling women back home, you become more comfortable with women. Social comfort, not social connection, not about emotion, social comfort. That makes it easier to close. Does that make sense? So the more comfortable you're with women, make some female friends that are hot. Get them on your Instagram. And then when you start pulling hotter women home, you won't get as freaked out. Hope that makes sense. That's some really advanced level shit. Who is John's Pakistani mentor? The best pimp in his generation? He doesn't want to be a dating coach or anything like that. He's more underground. He is a 5'11", slightly chubby looking brown dude. He's trained, that he's mentored me in like earlier. I've been in the game for 18 years, but he put all the pieces together, all the gold bars. I would say he's probably like you would say that this guy is so unattractive. There's no way he can keep banging 9s out of 10s. But when I see these women around him, they were just throwing themselves on him, phoning him, begging him over text, because he knows how to mentally and get them to chase. He knows how to get them to chase. And sometimes he tell a woman in the bedroom when she's like, "Oh, can you bring me upstairs?" He's like, his mindset is he'll never let women control the frame. He'll say, "Why don't you carry yourself upstairs? You got some fucking legs." He's like willing to walk. And she's like offended, but she's not, but now she's attracted. She's offended. You'll never hear this from other people going for low-hanging fruit, where they're giving validation to women. Now he's in control of the frame. Therefore, she's chasing him. She's like, and then if she gives a problem, like, "Okay, I'm gonna go home," he'll be like, "Fuck off. Can you drive me home?" Right? That's what she'll say. And I was like, "You got your own fucking car there. Drive yourself." He'll literally kick a woman out of a bed, even if she's 9 out of 10. He's willing to walk. Holy shit. And sometimes we'll launch each other off of the car. We have this vehicle. So it'll be like, "John, you go after her." And it's like, what the fuck? It's just, get out of the fucking car. And it's like, okay, I have to pee, man. And then we torpedo each other. We torpedo each other where the woman is. And he's so good that he knows he's our closer. He'll stop his fucking car just to game her. But seriously, he'll leave it on the fucking parking lot just to game her. He knows that she's gonna come on over. He's that good. He's that confident in his game. But we'll launch each other off in the inner circle. So we have also guys who are like really good looking in the inner circle. They look like male models, tall white guys who also train me in natural game. We'll just launch each other out there like torpedoes, and then come back. We'll drive around the circle and come back. So yeah, there's other guy came from California. He knows Steve Wozniak. He knows all the high value people. That's how good the social skills is. But we all know like all these secret mentality. In fact, I'll show you something cool. This is a secret book. When I was at the mansion, I wrote down all the secret tactics of the inner circle. Okay? I wrote down a lot of the secret tactics of the inner circle that I cannot really share. There's a lot of secrets in here. These are the most advanced or expert level game the world has ever known. There's guys from California or naturals who came on over. This other guy, he was banging women who are like 10 out of 10 for the body, but around like 7.8 for the face. And he's old too, old white guy. Not super tall, 5'9", getting a little bit chubby, losing a little bit of his SMV. But he was once so fucking dominant. So, John, do you believe the hard push type of game applies to Asian girls and girls? No, because Asian women, you gotta treat them like cats. Cats will get scared off easily. So you can pretend to be more beta just to trap them and to close them. That means that you can pretend to be like more friendly and stuff, like a cat. Think social comfort. And when you bring her back home, you can choose when to strike. And I don't mean to strike by physically strike, but when to make your move. When to sexualize it, because you can use that to move her around. Hope that makes sense. So the kind of dominant personality would scare the shit out of Asian women. It will scare her a lot. So for her, it would be very different. Hope that makes sense. Hope that helped. I should not be teaching you guys the secrets, but the kind of shit in here are so advanced level that the whole POA industry will crumble if they ever see the technologies behind the inner circle. This is the player's manual. And this is like information from all sorts of inner circle members all around that travel all the way to the mansion just to hang out and talk. It's like a secret society of players switching tactics and stuff, mindsets. It's like, who the fuck is Johnny Elite really? Is he like a PUA or is he like a dating There are some very scary fucking technologies, guys, that you've never heard of before. For example, sometimes I'll just give you a little bit so you guys know. Sometimes we carry around like a shopping bag. We'll go to Sephora and we'll buy something. We don't use it. We'll just carry it around with us. We'll refund it later. But because we have a bag in our hand, we don't look like we're PUAs. You'll never see us, just like when you see me approach, it doesn't look like a PUA is approaching. It looks like a guy, just a normal guy. That's how we blend in with social stealth. It's impossible because whenever we look in Vancouver, it's like, oh, that guy's a PUA. That motherfucker's a PUA. We know, but for us, you can never tell we're PUAs because we blend in so well. And also sometimes we use choke points too because we know all the SkyTrain stations, women are there. But if you're an RSD victim, you're trying to do this shit, you're going to eventually get the cops on you. But we know all of the secrets of how to use every environment to our advantage and how to adapt to every single location. You probably think, John, this doesn't sound like Daygame. This sounds like something completely out of this world. Like probably 1,000 years from now, or 1,000 years in the past, or 1,000 years. Yeah, because when these guys, they're not Daygame coaches. So therefore, they just talk about game. They're already millionaires, all of them, except me. They're all millionaires. So therefore, they're rich. They don't give a fuck. They have perfect social skills. They're smart. Multi-millionaires. They have at least 3 to 5 million or something around that range in the inner circle. But however, for them, they don't really care. They don't really care. So therefore, their game is devoid of money. When you look at all these dating coaches telling you all this emotional shit, all this autistic sounding shit that you hear in the Daygame industry, red pill this, red pill that, their game is so fucking minuscule. It's almost a joke to us. You know, the social skills, all that stuff. It's just them SMVing it, being delusional. They have no game whatsoever compared to inner circle. These inner circle people are so fucking vicious and so good at game. You wouldn't even believe what they can do. I remember one time, an inner circle member, I was dressed like Neo. I think I posted my blog. The other guy was wearing this kind of space mask. He was gaming a woman inside a car with a mask. And he was walking with her as she's walking or driving across Granville. He still banged her the next day. He gamed her. He got the phone number, and she still came out and he banged her. He didn't show like that much behind the mask. But you can see these guys are relentless, fearless. And when you take the money out of the game, all you have are just the stuff that works, the naturals. These are not just low-value naturals like a caste system. These are high-value naturals. These are like the Navy SEALs of game. They're like the killers of game. You will never find out any information about them. They just love the game. And this is what they do. And it seems like all the naturals are into day game, not night game, not in other shit. They're all into day game. And it doesn't make sense to a lot of you. A lot of them do like this kind of same day late kind of style. They like to close early. They don't like to. I hope that makes sense. It's like this doesn't make sense, but yeah. John, can you tell us the insider secret of evolution? John, do you think Elite 30 is enough for a beginner? I look at preview, didn't look like a lot of modules because you're stupid. Blake is actually the only program I recommend for Asians and stuff who are completely socially retarded. That program is so powerful. It has added hundreds of testimonials to my fucking 400 count testimonials. Without Elite 30, you're just going to be focusing on this shit, this autistic shit. The inner circle already has perfect social skills. They already have perfect body language, and they have perfect emotions. The game is almost like the last part, the weakest part of the game. You have to be insane to think, oh, it looks minuscule. It's like the fucking cure for cancer. The cure to the Daygame cancer, guys. This is the only program that gets Asian men pulling in late. The fucking Elite 30 is more powerful than Playbook. I should charge more for this one than the Playbook. But in reality, don't assume just because it's cheaper is worse. It is way more powerful. It's just people like you dismiss it because you don't know what you don't know. You think, oh, because it's just body language, social skills. I dare you to try to have all 30 pieces together. The perfect posture, the perfect facial expressions. That's why I made a program called Kaizen. Kaizen got a 40-year-old man laid with a 20-year-old German. It got a 50-year-old man, a really hot girlfriend. and 6 lays and 1 blowjob. Kaizen guy, 18-year-old, autistic, impossible case, losing his virginity. And this is based on Elite 30. That's just social calibrations, guys. Imagine if you have great social skills. You'd be like the inner circle. You'd be like the hornets. You'd be chewing through the other bees. So yeah. Will oval Asian face women date black men? It's not about the. I already answered your question before. Okay, that's a stupid question. It's more like you want to go for the women who are more like Filipinas, because Chinese women will always want like a white man because they want the highest status and they don't give a fuck about Asian men. So you going for Chinese is a big disaster. If you try to go for Filipino women or Indonesian or some darker skin one, you do much better. If you try to go for East Asian women like Koreans and Japanese, they're gonna be so fucking scared of you. You're better to be Indian than to be black because they're gonna be very scared unless you have a lot of comfort. But there's a hypergamy or hypergamy. See, now you can change it over here. I can make my face slimmer here. So basically what you want to do is aim for the Filipinos first, because they'll have any other race besides Asians. If it's a black man, it's still higher than an Asian man. So for them, that's what you want to aim for. Hey, John, what are you using? Well, this makes your jawline more slimmer, right? You see, overall, it looked bigger in the beginning of the thumbnail, but somehow the jawline looks a lot slimmer. It's because this makes the muscles here, the masseter muscles, loosen up. And when you do something like this is what they call a Korean jaw roller. The more I use this, the younger I look. So somebody said I look like 25 years old. I can make myself look like 22 if I wanted to. I know every game hack there is for physical appearance. So this is one of those secrets, because Asian men, they have very wide jaw lines. That's why they have jaw reduction surgery to look more K-pop. So the more I use this thing right on the muscles here, the younger I look. And you're going to see throughout the thing, I'll look younger and younger. So I do this, I let it go, I let it relax a little bit, the muscles, just like massaging it. See that? Now it's looking a little bit thinner. See that? But the jawline looks like more of a, I can grab it by my hand now. This game that you speak 100 years ahead. I already told you some of the secrets. How much more do you want to know? I can't tell you anymore. John, do Asians have any benefits in being game from looking younger or anything? It seems like we just have terrible prospects. Well, basically, you want to go for a positive stereotype. So right now, I'm trying to look more K-pop-ish. So that's one way of pre-selection. So protector status pre-selection. You want to go for 2 routes. Okay, Blake? The very first route that you want to go for is, if you're a pretty boy type, kind of like myself, you want to go towards, like, this increases your looks because my golden ratio is extremely high, 82%. So if I can reduce this, I can become more of a pretty boy. It makes it so much easier in Daygame. If you can't be the pretty boy type, you want to be the tall type, the tall Asian type, the Korean actors with some muscles on them. Does that make sense? So the taller you are as an Asian guy, but you never want to be chubby because it affects the arrow theory. And number 3, you want to be like super muscular. If you cannot be like good looking and you cannot be tall, you want to be like a buff like a fucking Ninja Turtle. But it's better to have like a 5'9" height, pretty boy type, and muscular at the same time, but kind of lean and thin. So some people may have this lean jaw theory or some bullshit. It's not about lean jaw theory. I have found the students around 5'11"-ish. They're black, whatever. The chubbier they are, the arrow does not fly as much. It's not because it's slim jaw. It's more because the arrow theory. If that makes sense. Golden ratio. So yeah, you can see it's getting thinner and thinner. Now I can move the lower masseter. And you can make this bigger by chewing gum. So fuck looks theory, arrow theory. But I can manipulate the way I look anytime I want. And if I want to get brighter skin like a Korean, I have exactly the kind of stuff to do it. I hope that makes sense. Every single piece of my physical appearance, aesthetics can change. See, it feels like there's a lot of muscle here. Because my jawline looks a little bit chubbier, but if I do this, it'll look a little bit better. So this is the end of the masseter here. And what happens if I do this? See, this is all the secrets So now you're realizing John's game is unlike anyone's game. Now you can see why there's 400 plus 435 late poll testimonials. Give a thumbs up if you're liking this stuff, because I'm dropping a lot of golden nuggets. Not gold nuggets, but gold coins. How can you whiten skin like Koreans, John? Most Asians have yellow skin. Well, basically, one of the things you can do is called exfoliating. I'll show you how. Okay. So